This is what you do in Shetland.
Really want to put little pockets over everything.
This matters, yeah. This place matters. And me as an incomer, I mean, I obviously got a feel for that relatively quickly. And having been brought up in Germany also in the rural part, and I'm certainly not a city dweller, I have a good understanding of that and what it actually means. When we speak about a community-led small news organization, we are very often talking about a part of a city or a region here. So I mean, here's an island. And we are defined by a sea border. There's a very strong sense of community. And because it is small, you actually meet people, on the same people, all the time. I mean, you go through town and there's quite a few people actually I know. And so as a local journalist, so you are known and there is no hiding. Out of that comes accountability and therefore the need for accuracy. Because you're being called out if you're not accurate. Yeah? It happens that you are being phoned up or so and being challenged, particularly when it comes to court stories, obviously. And occasionally you have to sort of develop a thick skin and actually and defend your position or so. And occasionally you have to say, well, I was wrong, yeah, and I correct that. I mean, but that's all part of it. The moment you become faceless or not responsive or so, I think you very quickly lose the credibility in the community. Therefore, there is no room for tabloid journalism. There are certain things which are part of standard journalism or so, which is extremely difficult to do in a place like this.
Yeah, just off to take a photo of a car crash that happened last night, which I think is going to result in a court case tomorrow. So in a small community like this, there's a balance between what you report in terms of pictures and stuff, but in accidents you kind of have to be quite respectful. Yeah, it's quite a smash.
Quite a smash?
Yeah, like I work for Shetland News, so I'm just here to get a better photo.
A local news journalist is one of the most, or probably the most challenging journalistic job you can do. Because the closer you are, the more accurate you have to be and the more careful of sort of finding the right tone and everything that's associated with that. Just feel like a VIP here. I was thinking this morning, how do I dress up for this? and I thought I'd make sure of it. Yeah? I mean, I usually don't wear this. Yeah, it's only when I go into town. And I mean, at home they are absolutely making jokes about me. That I say, oh, he's going to town. He's actually getting a shave. Yeah, that sort of thing. As the local hacker, so you have all these sort of sensors out there. So and you see certain things. Yeah, or you see, oh, there's some work going on over there. So I better make a mental mark that I'm going to phone such and such. So yeah, so because you know who is doing what in the community. They know you and I know them, yeah? And we all live sort of in a fishbowl or in the glass house, regardless. It depends on how you want to see it. Yeah? So there are a number of local democracy reporting posts in Scotland. I'm not quite sure how many, 20, 30 probably. And effectively what it is, reporting on local democracy issues, which the council, the local health board, number of arm's length organizations, which are all holding meetings and spending money and doing things in the community, and we report on that. And that's sort of a very, very nationally a neglected area. And this is why money has been put into this area. And Yes, and Shetland News is one of the very few nationally very small companies that actually got a contract from the BBC, which helped us enormously, makes the whole thing a little bit more viable and funds half a post.
Yeah.
And it did sound as though the SSC has caved in on this. Would you agree with that?
I would not agree with that. And in fact,
We are holding power to
I would not agree with that. So actually the agreement that we reached was confidential between the union, between our employees and the union, but not in a way that leaves the council exposed to any risk.
Speaking of those risks, I got an anonymous letter the other day, which I haven't used yet because I can't prove the authenticity of this, which refers exactly to that, that after all those years now there is a sort of agreement with the Tocman and other employees, particular female employees, were told that they would never be able to have those enhancements. But worse still, it's a female chief executive condoning this different terms and conditions. However, it is not surprising as she is silent on the inequality of April Jaar and actively supports this continuing slight on women. Do you want to comment on that?
I am absolutely clear that a female chief executive within
Sometimes it's probably easier not to do this.
this.
Yeah, or just sort of say, pretend you don't know about this or so, yeah. But then again, I mean, it just always depends on how you approach things and how you approach people. And sometimes you are surprised what you can. It's interesting because it's always more complex and complicated than it's actually made out. Isn't it? Yeah. And sometimes you assume, oh, that person certainly doesn't want to speak to you, so and then you phone them up and then they're quite happy to talk to you.
Make things.
So, I mean, everybody's different. Yeah.
And the other question.
Britain, I mean, I need to watch what I'm saying, but and you very often get the sense as so there's a agenda, a newsroom agenda or a publisher agenda, and news is being squeezed along just to fit that agenda rather than actually reporting what really goes on. And that's certainly not how I like to sort of develop what we are doing here. And I think we actually have managed to accurately reflect the various sort of sections of the community here and on the islands. So you get that sort of response back from the community very regularly, and it also shows in the audience figures that we have. But in order to do this, you need to speak to both sides. And one is the comfortable side and the other one is the more challenging side. So yeah, but it has to be done. Yeah, because without the other side, you really wouldn't want to do this. Yeah? You need to give both sides the chance to respond to whatever it is. Yeah.